Every year since the Portuguese Grand Prix was revived in 1985, the race has been an absolute cracker, and I don't see why this year should be any different. The 2.7-mile Estoril Autodrome is a superb circuit. It has plenty of different corners, it has gradient, it has a long fast straight, and the drivers like it. This year's champion has got to be either Alain Prost or Ayrton Senna, who both have a comfortable lead over Ferrari's Nigel Mansell, the Williams drivers Riccardo Patrese and Thierry Boutsen, and Benetton's Alessandro Nannini. But after yesterday's final qualifying session, today's race is wide open. Yet again, for the 39th time in fact, Ayrton Senna is in pole position in his McLaren-Honda. But only 0.6 of a second slower, Gerhard Berger is alongside Senna on the front row. Pierluigi Martini and Luis Sala are an excellent 5th and 9th for Minardi. Martin Brundle is well up at 10th, Jonathan Palmer is 18th, and Derek Warwick is 22nd. But Johnny Herbert just failed to qualify in his Tyrrell.
The first corner, the first falling right-hand corner. Gerhard Berger leads, chops off Ayrton Senna, who has got Nigel Mansell right behind him. Mansell going for the inside, Prost is in 4th place. Martini, who qualified well, is still in 5th position. They have all got round that first vital turn together, and now they come uphill. Berger leads, Senna 2nd, Mansell 3rd, Prost 4th, Martini 5th, Patrese is 6th. Then it's Alex Cathy in 7th place, and Thierry Boutsen is 8th, and Berger is barely streaking away.
Yes, Berger doing his, what we've now come to expect, his trademark, a storming opening, made a very good start, using that semi-automatic gearbox for good effect, as he's shown in several races this year. He's always been quick off the line, and he out-muscled Ayrton Senna into the first corner. Senna had the inside line, but could only get alongside. Berger wasn't having any of it. And look at him flying around the opening lap. Now, no rush for Senna. He's going to settle down, size things up, because overtaking is pretty difficult here in Portugal and requires a bit of tactics. So Senna won't be chasing Berger hard at the moment. I'm sure he'll be playing in, trying to bring his tyre in gently and get the race established.
And watch little Pierluigi Martini in 5th position. There is only one compound of Pirelli tyre. Most of the runners are on Goodyears, which have been so successful over the year, but now they're having a challenge. Berger is really taking his opportunity with a clear track. Of course, he did extremely well at Monza by finishing in 2nd place to score his first ever points of 1989.
Meanwhile, Mansell continuing to look for a way around Senna, and Prost, who's looked pretty dejected on the racetrack all weekend and certainly looked no different the first few laps, is beginning to catch Senna again. Just by at a glance, I would have said Prost is not falling back any further.
So there's the battle. And you can see Alain Prost in the background. He's just about 1.8 seconds behind Nigel Mansell, that we're looking at in 3rd position. Mansell 3rd, Prost 4th. And Ayrton Senna can count all the points he gets in this race in the World Championship. You're looking now at Senna's car ahead of Nigel Mansell. Watch Mansell's fingers, if you can, underneath the steering wheel. They operate the rocking levers on the left and right of the steering wheel underneath the rim, which control the hydraulics of the semi-automatic gearbox. It has an electronic brain which blips the engine for the driver when he's changing down, and there you can see Alain Prost is inching up on Senna and Mansell, and now surely Mansell could go for it here. He's out from behind, and he's going through. Nigel Mansell up into 2nd place, Ferrari 1st and 2nd on lap 8 of the Portuguese Grand Prix, and already Mansell is starting to pull away from Senna.
Yes, well, he was running so close behind him, it was quite clear that Mansell was going to be able to go noticeably quicker to tuck that closely under the wing of a car in front. And here we see again Mansell pulling out, and Senna doesn't really fight it. He knows that Mansell's got the corner, gives him plenty of space. And now we see it from the cockpit. Tremendous. This is good use of the onboard camera on the straight now, coming up into the braking area, just towing up. Mansell pulls out. Still, his momentum hasn't reached the braking area yet.
Senna in third position you are looking at. Prost there getting ever closer in fourth position. Now Patrese, if we see him, is starting to have a go at Martini. You are watching Ayrton Senna. Ahead of him, the two Ferraris, Berger and Mansell. There is Mansell. In the background, Alain Prost. Gerhard Berger is consistently the fastest. His gap now between himself and Mansell is 7.7 seconds, and the race order on lap 12 out of 71 in the Portuguese Grand Prix. Gerhard Berger, Ferrari, leads. Mansell, Ferrari, second. Senna and Prost, McLaren-Honda's third and fourth. Fifth is Martini in the Minardi. That's the highest they've been in a Grand Prix this year, or ever. Sixth is Patrese, Williams. Seventh, Boots and Williams. Eighth, Johansson, as James has told us, in the Onyx. Then, in ninth position, as Berger crosses the line, it is Alex Caffey, the little Italian, in the Dallara. And you can see that the Ferrari, which has got about 650 horsepower, is handling beautifully here.
Yes, it certainly is. Mansell's car, when we were looking from on board, looked very comfortable to drive to me. And that's Roberto Moreno, stopped out on the circuit. Now, he had a bit of a frightening shunt in practice yesterday when he tangled with another car, I believe it was Derek Warwick, and flew over the top of it, but they got him running again.
Gerhard Berger completes lap 13. Now let's see what the gap is as Nigel Mansell approaches the finishing line and crosses it now, and it's 6.7 seconds. Mansell is lapping 0.6 of a second faster than Berger. There is Prost, there is Martini, here he is with the two Williams behind him. Martini fifth, Patrese sixth, Boutsen seventh. Martin Brundle is the next British driver. He is in 10th position. Jonathan Palmer in the Tyrrell is in 15th place. Derek Warwick, who started well down, is in 20th position. Johnny Herbert, of course, sadly, because he was very sick yesterday, failed to qualify. We're riding with Gerhard Berger now in the Ferrari.
There's a huge gaggle of traffic in front of Berger, just ahead of him, and not that far ahead. We can see the back of them now, but we will see a gaggle. I didn't actually count them just then as I was looking out of the window from where we don't have a particularly good view, but it looked like at least half a dozen cars all battling away, and this isn't going to be easy for Gerhard to get through them. But remember, he's a charger in the Senna mode, and there is the gaggle. And it was about 6 cars too.
And the first one he has to take, with Mansell passing Arnoux and closing up definitely on Berger. The first one that Berger has to pass is Eddie Cheever in the Arrows, who is below 20th position, I can tell you that.
Berger lost a lot of time on that lap behind Arnoux, and Mansell was lucky because he caught Arnoux on the straight and didn't lose any time over it. So the gap now is, well, it's visual. It's 2.5 seconds.
Eddie Cheever gesticulating furiously at one of the Lola cars. It's either Alboreto or Alio. Now we're going to see Gerhard Berger and how he copes with this traffic, and Mansell will close right up on him. I'm absolutely sure of that. That's Cheever, and Berger absolutely blasts past the Arrows. Now where is Mansell? Look for Nigel Mansell in the background. Coming up to the Lola now. And in front of the Lola is Emanuele Pirro. It's Alboreto in front of Berger now, and it's Pirro in front of Alboreto. Both about to be lapped by the Ferrari, which is on lap 20.
Yeah, it's very frustrating for Berger, this, to get that bigger group in front of him. He might be able to do one of the cars on the straight, but of course they're helping each other with the tow. And look at the power of the Lamborghini engine. Berger and Ferrari can do nothing about that. So Mansell goes onto his tail. And a chance for Mansell to challenge for the lead now with the help of the traffic.
On on lap 20 out of 71. Berger has got to get past Alboreto and Pirro smartly here. He's past Emanuele Pirro, so is Nigel Mansell behind him, and now Mansell and Berger in their Ferraris on lap 20 in this 71 lap race are absolutely together. You can see for yourselves, if Berger puts a wheel wrong, Mansell can grasp his opportunity, as he did in Hungary when he passed Senna, and he had to go there. He thought he would rattle Berger as Berger passes Michele Alboreto, and now the Austrian Gerhard Berger in the Ferrari has got a clearer track as Eddie Cheever tackles Michele Alboreto, who is now a lap behind the two flying Ferraris in one of the best Grand Prix we've had in 1989, and we're with Nigel Mansell. And now watch Berger in front as he comes up to Derek Warwick, and in front of Warwick I think is Nakajima. And now Mansell sees his opportunity. He's up alongside Gerhard Berger, and he's going through into the lead. He's on the inside, and that's Warwick passing Modena, and Mansell passes Warwick, and now Nigel Mansell leads on lap 23 of the Portuguese Grand Prix. Gerhard Berger passes Modena. Senna is closing up on all of them. What an absolutely fabulous scrap at the front.
Amazing stuff. It was difficult to see with the head-on camera there, but I have a feeling that Nigel might have rather cleverly boxed Berger in, but just before this, and Berger then couldn't come out because he would have driven into Mansell, couldn't go left because of the grass, and in fact he didn't get past anybody. And here is the first of the front runners in the for the tyres. That must be Prost, and I was just about to say it is now about the right moment to be changing tyres. I should think Prost's timing is probably better than most, because it gets him away from the traffic problems, and half distance they haven't quite reached yet, but it is not, of course, remembering the cars are that much heavier in the first half of the race, so it's well before half distance. Is actually halfway through the work that the tyres have to do.
And Gerhard Berger is certainly not giving up as Mansell crosses the line to complete his 29th lap. The gap between him and Berger is down to 1.6 seconds. Berger lapping marginally faster. Senna is lapping faster than both of them. 1 minute 20.6 for Senna, 1 minute 20.9 for Mansell, 1 minute 20.7 for Berger. And Martini is now up into 4th place. Patrese is 5th. Boutsen is 6th, and that, of course, is because Alain Prost has been in for tyres. The first of the front runners, he did so on lap 28. We just completed lap 29. Alain Prost, in fact, is in 8th place, and ahead of him is Stefan Johansson in the Onyx.
And that's March with a stalled engine, mechanics leaping on it to give it a push.
It was Mauricio Gugelmin, and you can see that Ayrton Senna is now just about 1.5 seconds behind Gerhard Berger, lapping quicker, marginally quicker. Maybe he is conserving his tyres better than Gerhard Berger in front of him, and Berger looks as though he's going into the pits. Indeed he is. On lap 35, Gerhard Berger goes into the pits, and Ayrton Senna goes up into 2nd place. So one of the Ferraris has stopped, one of the McLarens has stopped. Let's look at the time. 8 seconds would be a good time, and the Ferrari is away in 6.8 seconds. That has to be one of the fastest 4 tyres and wheel stops I have ever seen in a Grand Prix. A superlatively good time. It's delayed Gerhard Berger the absolute minimum. We know Prost started going faster after he was on fresh rubber. Gerhard Berger will do exactly the same thing. And now Senna goes into the pits, and Mansell stays out. Riding with Nigel Mansell, Ayrton Senna, the second of the 2 McLarens, comes into the pits, and there's Ron Dennis out with a board which says brakes, and that is to tell the driver to keep his foot on the brakes to stop the rear wheels from turning. And that is a slower, much slower pit stop than that of Gerhard Berger. It's twice as long, 12.9 seconds. So Senna's lost 6 seconds to Berger on the pit stop.
Yes, and Berger went past as Senna was just, the car was just being dropped off the jacks then. So Berger is certainly has retained his position ahead of Senna on the road. Now we'll look to see if Senna has got out in front of Alain Prost. Yes, and Senna got out just in the nick of time because he's got out not only ahead of Prost, but with a four-car gaggle, or approximately four-car gaggle of back markers between himself and Prost. So he'll be pleased about that. I would have thought that Mansell, if he's going to change tyres, ought to be wanting to change them very soon. There is the Ferrari crew ready, so it looks very much the blankets are still on the tyres, but I thought they might have been just taking him off, in which case he's probably announced he's coming next time he comes to the start-finish straight.
And it looks to me as though this is Mansell's stop. He's coming into the pit lane now, and he leads. Now I'm going to be watching very carefully to see if Martini goes by before Mansell comes out, in which case the Italian will be in the lead.
Yes, and Thierry Boutsen has put up a new fastest lap for the race on fresh tyres, and there's confusion now. Mansell's missed his pit. This is a disaster for Nigel Mansell. And that is very strange. That is theoretically driver error, but I think the McLaren team weren't giving him a very good sight of his marks, because you come on to marks, so that really is a disastrously long stop for Mansell.
Nigel Mansell back into the race after that bodged pit stop. It's cost him over 20 seconds, and he could be as low as 4. And hello, who's that? It's Warwick. It's Derek Warwick out, and you can see that he's hit something very hard indeed. So Derek Warwick joins the retirement. But the excitement, of course, is all at the front. What a race this has been. This is lap 40 out of 71, and there's Warwick. And something or someone has hit his left front. He's skating in, trying to get back to the pit. So here is a replay of Nigel Mansell coming into the pits, and what a terrible pit stop it was. He goes to the left, avoiding the Ferrari mechanics. He's overshot. That's made a dreadful mess of it, and he's lost a lot of time. Race order now on the 42nd lap is that Gerhard Berger is 1.9 seconds ahead of Ayrton Senna, who is 1 second ahead of Martini, third, who is 1.8 seconds ahead of Mansell, fourth, who is 2 seconds ahead of Prost, fifth. Johansson is sixth. Nannini is seventh. Patrese is eighth. Ninth is Boutsen. In 10th position is Jonathan Palmer. 11th is Martin Brundle. 12th is Nakajima. 13th is Alio, who has been lapped. 14th is Sala. Then is Gugelmin in 15th position.
And Mansell breaks the lap record on that lap, his first clear lap without traffic on his own after his tyre stop on the fresh rubber, 1 minute 19.213. So tremendous view now of Mansell's task, and that is his immediate task is to get on first of all on terms with Ayrton Senna and then find a way around. He did it earlier in the race, so he knows he can do it. He's not quite close enough, I don't think, this time to take benefit from the tow. I think he'll need to be about 3 lengths closer than that as they come onto the pit straight. It's difficult to tell with that foreshortened head-on shot just exactly how far they are apart as they approach so far away down at the other end of the straight. But I think there's no doubt that Mansell is the fastest man on the circuit. When he's got a clear circuit, he's now climbing all over the back of Ayrton Senna. It'd be really nice to see it from Mansell's camera just right beside his head. So it's very close to being his view. Having a look, but only a short dab on the brakes there, not really room to get in position down the hill, hard on the brakes, the right-hander.
This is lap 46, and there is no doubt about the fact that Nigel Mansell can get past, or is there? Because Senna is easing away again.
Well, it's these last few corners where Nigel's got to get very close, so that he's close on to the final start-finish race, and we've got a set of black flag. But we'd rather be watching the back of Senna's car from that of Nigel Mansell, and to whom is that being held? Black flag and a number. We need to see the number. Black flag with a number held up means that that person who owns that number has to come into the pit.
I think it was being shown to Senna. I can only surmise, and to use that word again, hypothesize, that Senna's car may be throwing out oil. It's been spotted and they want him to come in. But he won't be at all anxious to do that, of course. That really would ruin his World Championship chances. We'll see. The black flag means, if it's shown with a number, must stop at the pit within 1 lap and report to the clerk of the course. I can see Senna getting out of his car and marching off to find the clerk of the course. Lap 47, 24 laps to go. Berger leads now by 5.3 seconds. He's pulled away from this battle between Senna in second place, Mansell in third position. Prost is 7 seconds behind Mansell in fourth position. The World Championship leader, Alain Prost. Fifth is Stefan Johansson, and that is a magnificent performance in the Onyx. He was fastest in pre-qualifying. He finished, of course, in fifth position in France to get the first points for Onyx. In sixth position, it's Patrese, still ahead of his teammate Boutsen. There is Berger passing, and it is Senna. It is Senna. It's either Senna or Mansell, and I can't see why it should be Nigel Mansell, but that flag is again being shown to as they go past.
Unless they're showing it to Mansell for being pushed backwards down the pit road, which is theoretically illegal. I believe, even though it was only a car length, it could be Mansell if somebody's being really ridiculous on the rules, but that's a guess of mine, and it's only a guess, and I hope nothing petty like that is happening to Mansell, and I hope nothing petty like bringing somebody in for just hazing out a bit of oil that isn't actually making the track dangerous, which would be the case in Senna, if you're right about Senna throwing oil, Murray. But we need to see the number that they're hanging out. We can't tell. I see a 27, don't I, through the man's legs. I think I didn't look like a 1 to me. Now, Bernie Eccleston was going up on the rostrum there, looking like a man intent on remonstrating with the officials. Bernie Eccleston is the boss of Fokker. He also is part of Pisa as Mansell, yeah, we do think that's a 27 on the board, so now I'm quite sure Mansell will ignore that and be told to by Ferrari until such time as it can be sorted out. And Eccleston will be up there remonstrating, and they're waving it hard to Mansell, who will claim he can't see it because he's looking up right up Senna's wing.
And Mansell is trying to go through, goes off, both of them. Senna and Mansell, and Senna's out of the race. His right rear wheel is cocking right up in the air. And so that's the answer for Nigel Mansell. He was right to stay out. Now Berger is away on his own now. And Senna again. Let's see if this replay. Here it is.
Mansell, a very desperate temper. He's got to see the black flag as well. Senna, I think Mansell was alongside him. Senna, without any doubt, caused that. To my mind, I'd like to see it again, but Senna just need to move in when Mansell was filling the road inside him. That was quite clearly down Senna, and that may, I'm sure, that could well cost Senna the World Championship, because he's taken away a lot of points. With Mansell being black flagged, Senna didn't need to defend against Mansell. He certainly would have been able to see that number 27 was being black flagged. He therefore knew he didn't have to race Mansell, and that is very unprofessional driving with Senna, I'm afraid, taking himself out of the race, and he has thrown, quite possibly, thrown his championships away. And just look at him. He knows it. He is distraught with himself, I am absolutely sure. Irrespective of what he says later, I'm sure he will be quite distraught with himself for, after all, attacking a car that you weren't even racing anymore, because you know, even though he hasn't gone into the pits, he's being black flagged, and for sure he'll be out of it.
But now Gerhard Berger closing up on the lap. Jonathan Palmer leads the Portuguese Grand Prix very convincingly on lap 51 from Alain Prost second. Johansson is up into third position. Fourth is Riccardo Patrese. Fifth is Boutsen. So both the new Williams are in the points. In sixth position it's Nannini. Seventh is Martini. Jonathan Palmer, who is shortly going to be lapped by Gerhard Berger, that you are looking at on his way to his first Grand Prix victory of 1989. Palmer in eighth position. Let's say a few very complimentary and very well-deserved things about Stefan Johansson and the British Onyx team with its Belgian money backing, because Stefan Johansson is in a fine third place. Patrese is definitely catching the Onyx, no doubt about that. Patrese, who, like Alain Prost, has had a superb 1989 Grand Prix season in the Williams, is making the most of this new car. They were making some suspension adjustments to it yesterday, and it looks as though there's going to be a change very shortly. And there's Patrese going for third, pulls out from the slipstream of Stefan Johansson's Onyx and takes that third position. Car number 6, FW13, Williams-Renault, its first Grand Prix, now in third position. Here's a replay of Mansell.
Yes, and his problem was he jinked round the wrong side of the Ferrari mechanics, because those people as he went round were actually waiting to do the left-hand wheels of the car, but he didn't get pushed back. He went back to his own reverse gear, and I don't think that's an infringement of the rules, but then the rules are so petty and silly about things like that, I can't be sure whether it's being pushed backwards in the pits, which we know is not allowed, or whether it's going backwards in the pits at all. If under your own power says it's okay, then he didn't break any rules, because definitely they left the car alone. They went towards it, but then they let him come back under his own steam.
It is indeed forbidden to go backwards anyway. Pushed back, driven back, blown back, whatever, you transgress the rules if you go backwards. So that was the reason. It's irrelevant now because Mansell is out. Now, who's gone off there? From the yellow coving, it's either Patrese or one of the Minardis. Well, as ever, it's all happening at the end of the race. That banner obliterates us. And car number 5 there is Thierry Boutsen in the pits. And from the way he's being manhandled, now, is he in the car or not? I think Thierry Boutsen is out of the Portuguese Grand Prix. This is lap 62. Berger leads Prost by 24 seconds, and Patrese is missing, and Johansson is back in third place. And now you're looking at Alain Prost coming up to lap Jonathan Palmer, who is in the points, because Jonathan Palmer in the Tyrrell, who is about to be caught and lapped by Alain Prost, is in 6th position. Berger leading Prost, the man you're looking at now, double world champion and 4 times a winner this year, 5 times second this year. He's going to make it 6. 25 seconds behind Berger, 26 seconds ahead of Johansson, who is going to be on the podium for the first time since he drove for McLaren, and that of course was last year. Now you can see what it's like to be driving with a Grand Prix winner. Gerhard Berger with the camera mounted on his car, out of turn 7, climbing at about 130 miles an hour underneath the banner there, turn 8. Now he's at the highest part of the course, goes through the left and the right and the left into turn 11, and as he does so you will see the long straight stretching ahead of you, and you will know that you, with Berger, are starting the last lap of the Portuguese Grand Prix and riding with the potential winner.
Yes, indeed. And what a tremendous change it is to see Ferrari winning on merit, and a really healthy, refreshing change after the McLaren domination has become really quite monotonous, because this is their second Grand Prix win on merit this season over McLaren, because Hungary was certainly, they won on merit, they beat the McLaren fair and square, and they've done it again today. Doesn't matter that there was a contretemps between Mansell and Senna. Mansell was quicker, and he'd passed and pulled away from Senna once. He was in the process of passing him for the second time, and then threatening to pull away after what will always now be a controversial pit stop. But then Senna ended the problem of discussion and everything by driving into Mansell, who was already committed on his inside with the overtaking manoeuvre. So a dramatic and exciting race, a tremendous win for Ferrari and for Gerhard Berger, who's had such a dismal season till now, but he'll be well thrilled with that, and altogether a good Grand Prix entertainment.
Gerhard Berger enters comes out of the last corner of the last lap to win the third Grand Prix for Ferrari of 1989 and the first for himself, the Portuguese Grand Prix. A wave from Berger, bags of cheers from the crowd. Berger is obviously delighted, and it's going to be, subject to official confirmation, Alain Prost 30 seconds behind in second place and making the World Championship almost his. Stefan Johansson in third position, Alessandro Nannini fourth, Pierluigi Martini fifth, and Jonathan Palmer gets a point for himself and Tyrrell by finishing in sixth position. That is Prost finishing second. Ferrari wins, McLaren in second place, but Onyx in third position on the podium for the first time. In the World Championship, Alain Prost has increased his score to 75 points, 24 ahead of Ayrton Senna in second place. Nigel Mansell still third with 38 points, Riccardo Patrese fourth on 28, and then Boutsen and Alessandro Nannini. And in the Constructors World Championship, Ferrari have now moved up into second place ahead of Williams.
As soon as the Portuguese Grand Prix finished, the stewards of the meeting assembled to consider Nigel Mansell's botched pit stop and his reversing back along the pit lane, which is against the rules. Their decision is bound to cause a political uproar. It is that Nigel Mansell and Ferrari should jointly be fined $50,000 and that the governing body of the sport should consider excluding Mansell from a future Grand Prix. Needless to say, it's the talk of Portugal, but in a week's time, there's the Spanish Grand Prix. Will Mansell be there? Watch Grand Prix and see for yourself.